Here in swing state Wisconsin, like the rest of the country, the economy is the #1 issue. And even if it's not what you care about most, it's a safe bet that the things you do are tied to it.
Now, with so much on the line, we sent Jessica Arp on the road around Wisconsin to find out how and why.
15 miles west of Lake Michigan sits quiet, quaint St. Nazianz, Wisconsin.
Our company is 113 years old. We're the biggest employee here. There are only about 700 or 800 people. We employ almost 270.
Here you'll find the strength of our state. Building the biggest farm implement brand you've never heard of.
We compete against Case IH and John Deere, which are very strong brands here. They're lesser so in other parts of the world. So our independent Miller brand has a better shot of selling to a farmer in Russia than it does to a farmer in Iowa. You got a front-mounted cap for easy vision.
John Miller now sells more than 50% of his crop sprayers around the world. After a slowdown leading to layoffs in 2009 and 10, Miller is expanding again. 70 new faces have come to work in the last 2 years. It's not lost on Miller that the outcome of the approaching election could shape his future.
For me to grow as a company, I need to make strategic investments in both educating our people and capital expansion here. The government needs to do the same thing. So they need to make investments in infrastructure so that I can bring my products to market. And they also need to make investments in our education.
But Miller can also see the hardship that continues during his building boom.
Our gains have been somebody else's loss. We're hiring a lot of people lately that have been laid off from other jobs in the local area that are hurting.
It's a challenge working on this, but it's I'll get used to it.
New buttons and new tools mean a new path for Jeff DIETRICH.
34 years at Thermo Fisher, and it's too bad.
After spending most of his life at the healthcare manufacturer, DIETRICH says he never knew management was sharpening the axe.
I thought when I started there when I was 18 years old, I thought I'd be retiring from there. Nobody expects it. You hear of all these plants closing, and you don't think it's going to happen to you, and it does. It's sad. A lot of people lost their jobs.
The same story playing out across Wisconsin, just 2 hours northwest in Stevens Point.
It was a kick in the teeth. They never asked the union for any type of concessions to try to keep it here. The state and the city offered them millions in incentives to stay, and they weren't interested. They already had their mind made up.
Jorn's Healthcare, which makes nursing home beds and furniture, languishes on the west side of town. It's where George Peretz has shown up for work since 1985 until next week. More than 150 jobs at the plant are headed south of the border, a cold reality that's left Peretz with a message for the presidential candidates.
Instead of worrying about retraining us after we lose our jobs, we need to figure out how we're going to keep our jobs. And the bottom line is be American, buy American, because the job that you save may be your own.
All right, take some deep breaths for me.
In southwest Wisconsin, a Dodgeville doctor's office is Arnold Boone's refuge, having gone cold turkey both from smoking and health care.
I mean, you've got some diminished breath sounds, which can be consistent with a little bit of emphysema.
The Chicago transplant landed in Montfort with no job, fortunate to find the community's free clinic.
People that's unemployed and people that are not have any health insurance, there's no other place to go.
We're open 2 nights a week. We're on pace to have the busiest year that we've ever had. Are you having any residual pain from when the stitches were coming out?
Dr. Aaron Dunn opened the doors here in 2006 and has only seen the need grow.
The access is still poor. The services we can offer are still limited. And we are a stopgap. We are not a long-term solution. So that's what we're looking for, is some kind of long-term fix so that people don't have to come here anymore.
Just minutes down the road in rural Iowa County.
We bought it in 2005. It's our 7th year on the farm.
The economy hasn't been kind to Laura Daniels. Costs of crops and feed skyrocketed in 2008. Milk prices tanked in 2009. And just when the industry seemed headed for a turnaround, the 2012 drought wiped out their corn crop. Their herd of Jersey cows have weathered the weather so far, but that doesn't mean there's not more to do.
Stepping back and thinking about agriculture as a whole, we need to pass a farm bill. And this is really important to us. And when it comes to politics, a lot of times politics that directly affect agriculture, you're not going to see it in the debate, and you're really not going to see a lot of national public discussion about it.
A political priority for Daniels is crop insurance, a safety net when Mother Nature has other plans.
Ag policy has to be all about balance, and that farmers are entrepreneurial by spirit, and we want to succeed on our own. But we also understand that there is a larger need for us to succeed beyond ourselves and our family. That feeding people is a kind of a big deal, right?
Head 2.5 hours east to the state's largest city, and you'll find a young woman who deeply understands the need to succeed.
My mom being a single mother with 4 children, there's no way she could provide for me to, go to college out of pocket. Just looking up something in the catalog here.
Tammy Robinson's job at UW-Milwaukee's main library isn't just for spending money.
I can help you down here.
The junior got a financial wake-up call from the government before school started this year. A notice she was ineligible for the Pell Grants that had been putting her through school. Why? A 25-cent an hour raise at her previous bank teller job.
I wouldn't have taken it. It wasn't worth it. The money I was making before I got the raise was good enough to take care of home and then still be able to get that help to pay for school.
Robinson knows how much is at stake as the presidential candidates look at college costs.
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people dropped out.
But for her, the loss of her grant is about more than just money.
Those people that do have parents they can go to, they don't understand. But people like me do.
Her unique situation, just one take on the challenges the people of Wisconsin face.
Hopefully next year I'll be able to get a little something to help me out.
It's how we respond to that adversity that will drive our decision-making this November.
It's real hard to walk away from a perfectly good job. Now you don't have a choice, so you're kind of like that small bird that gets kicked out of the nest. You got to go and learn how to fly all over again.
A lot of times you take for granted what you have, what you had, and now you start over, and hopefully with the election and I hope everything turns out okay, whoever is president.
Hope for what lies ahead as swing state Wisconsin chooses a path not only for our future, but for our country's. For Campaign 2012, I'm Jessica Arp.
And our thanks to Jessica, and we know those are just a few of the voices out there.
But what are the issues that matter most to you? Let us know on Twitter using the hashtag MyWI, or you can tweet right at us.